Glass Letterbox for Teatime and Tarot. Happy Tuesday. We are on day 31. If you've been following along, welcome back. If you've been journaling along, even better. If you've only just tuned in and you haven't been here before, welcome as well. Your time and attention is valuable, and I appreciate that you share some of it with me. So, I'm going to see what the cards have to say today. Alright, so justice. Alright, so balancing, reviewing things from an objective point of view, applying your equilibrium and equanimity and fairness to a situation, to getting a bird's eye view of what's happening for you from the past to the present to the future, just checking the map, seeing how everything connects, deciding how you want to resolve issues or obstacles, and also deciding on how you want to advance your purpose and the next right thing to do and the next right thing after that. And then also deciding when to, I usually forget to mention this, but planning in rest periods throughout that process to avoid burnout along a road or just over time is something that I very often overlook. So not just planning, where you're going and what you're going to do next, but also taking into account that some periods of rest and reflection are required along that road as well. So, and then we have the Eight of Cups. Okay, so that's moving, leaving behind what no longer serves you, moving in the direction of a new path to seek new experience and new fulfillment. Justice is also the card of Libra, so it may be helpful to speak to a Libra. Over the next couple weeks. Let's see, what else do we have? Two more, please. I'm definitely experiencing Mercury retrograde influences during this particular see, I can't even speak correctly. My goodness, my communications have been kerfuffled. So if anyone else is experiencing difficulty in saying what they mean or getting the words out or having trouble with their internet connections or just processing information, you are not alone. I am right there with you. So I'm going to place that under the umbrella of Mercury retrograde influences. And then we have the Page of Pentacles. So that is considering what it is that you've chosen to develop moving forward from this point, and planning, again, with Justice and the Eight of Cups. So the Eight of Cups allows you to be aware of the direction that you want to move in, because it's your starting point. It's what your the point at which you begin to venture in an alternate direction. So it's sort of like a "You Are Here" sticker on the mall kiosk of your experience. And then Justice allows you to see the map and to process all of that information in a constructive way and in a fair way with equilibrium and equanimity and objective analysis without judgment, but in order to understand how everything are connected before you decide to take the next step forward. And the Page of Pentacles is considering how you want to develop the way forward. And then at the last card we have is the King of Wands. Okay, so that is employing the visionary spirit. What is it that you want to develop? What is available to you to enrich that process, or to expand that process, or to get a more detailed picture of what it is that you are seeking to accomplish as well. This could also be Earth sign with the Page of Pentacles that's going to come in to assist you, or offer you consult or support throughout the development process of making that map that you're going through. So Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo may be a person that's going to help to influence your development there. Excuse me. And then the King of Wands, it could be a fire sign. So Leo, Sagittarius, Aries may be coming in to help to support and influence there. But the King of Wands is also about being confident and taking bold, authoritative decision. And in order to do so, he needs the information from Justice so he can be confident in those decisions. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Six of Pentacles. So tapping into that nature of exchange, a point of connection, giving and receiving, what you're saying yes to, what you're saying no to, and what cycles that you're able to tap into. So a point of connection for material growth to sustain and to engage that that influence. And then at the bottom we have the World. All right, so a new cycle is opening up, and with a progression like this, it's sort of committing to the new cycle. I know I started this in January, so it's just the initial stages of the development of something new that you want to embrace and bring forward. And now it's just over a month in, and it's sort of a reevaluation of development and where you want to go next, where you want to take it. If you've stuck with it and committed to it, and you're like, yes, this is definitely something that I want to carry forward and continue doing into a long-term cycle. How do I want to do that? What do I envision that's going to look like? What are the plans that I need in order to make this sustainable? And also, what systems do I need to connect to in order to make it profitable? Whatever profit it is that you're looking for. It could be money, it could be other forms of fulfillment. So it's not always money, but it's Pentacles is the material realm. So what kind of a world is it that I'm trying to expand into, and the cycles that are and connections that are available there. All right, so this is taking something to the next level of development for not just the initial stages of seeing how it works, seeing if you like it, seeing how it's going to, like the testing phase of a new idea of development. This is taking it up to a more intermediate level within that beginning process to see, okay, well, I like this. I like what it's looking like. I like doing it. I still see the potential in it, and I have a vision, of where I'd like to take it, but what does the next stage of the development look like? What does the next 30 or 60 days look like in applying this information so that it doesn't stagnate and it continues to be operative in that cycle of exchange? And what lies between the two? Six of Swords. Okay. Moving on to new shores. Seeking new experience. Again, moving away from what no longer works, because Dorothy here, she is traveling away from the island of Stan back here. So she's moving to a different land, moving on to a new realm of experience and opportunity that is unknown to her, but has the potential to provide her with a lot more connections and a different map to apply her vision to, because she's taken her vision with her with these Six of Swords. She's taken what she needs in order to make decisive and supportive decisions in what she does when she arrives to the new shore, because again, it's a point of six. It's a point of connection, reciprocity, and the cyclical nature of change. This is in the mind, in the thoughts. This is in the material. Okay, so this is practical, pragmatic. This is mind, thoughts, decisions, story, perception. All right, so looking for new cycles to engage with in order to make whatever it is that you're developing, to expand it beyond its initial vision and sort of edit and refine now that you know what you know from the beginning, applying what you know now that you didn't know then to the future path, and opening it up to the scope of the world as opposed to sort of just the scope of initiation, to see what happens, to see how that works, to see if it's going to be something that you can carry forward for long-term development. Let's clarify justice. Okay. The Star. Okay, so card of Aquarius. It may be helpful to speak to an Aquarius or a Libra, both very powerful air energies. And the star is just an indicator that the star, is shining down on what you're seeing. So you're in alignment, if it's resonating with you and it's working out and this is the stage of the development that you want, it's a signal that, you feel in alignment with your purpose and that the universe is connecting and giving you some sort of signal that you're on the right path and that it's resonant with you. So you're getting intuitive hits that what is aligning behind the scenes to come into connection with you is applicable to the plans that you're making and is applicable to the picture and the vision of the future that you have based on objective observation. So the potential and the possibility isn't an illusion, it is actually available to you with a star. Lovely. And then clarify the Eight of Cups, continuing to walk down that path towards new fulfillment and new experience. It may feel a little bit difficult. You may have some impulses to sort of turn back and fall into old habit or old patterns or old relationships because of the stage of development that you're at now, whatever course it is that you've chosen to take. But just take some time with justice to consider, okay, is this because I'm just being resistant to progress, or I don't quite feel like I know what I'm doing, or I feel a little out of place, or I'm not, vibing with my current scenario? Is it just because of that and I want to go back to something that I remember as being comfortable, even though it wasn't fulfilling? I just remember the comfort and the sort of security that was there because I knew how to exist within that space. Or is it something that perhaps I walked away from that was still valuable to me, I want to carry forward? Those are very, significant things to ask, and clarifying that is Temperance. So before you go back, have patience, 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 patience. You're in the flux, you're in the flow, you're in the space between what was and what will be. It takes time, it takes patience, and it takes effort to continue moving in the direction that you knew was right for you from the beginning. So have patience. You're still in the process of development. You're still in the process of evolution. Having that desire to sort of go back or fall back into what was comfortable previously and old cycles and old connections, that's completely normal, reasonable impulses. But you chose to walk away from those things for a reason, and just have some patience with yourself, continuing to walk the road forward before you decide to return to what was before. Give yourself a little bit more time once you're out of that sort of headspace. And then what persists within you to return to, then you can evaluate that with justice from an objective point of view when you're sort of out of your feelings and a little bit more in the air and earth space where you can make objective, practical, pragmatic, aware decision about whether or not that is something that you would like to choose to do instead of just something that you are compelled to do. And sort of be able to be secure within that decision for yourself. Clarifying Page of Pentacles is the Eight of Swords. Okay, so there may be some doubt, some fear, some insecurity or inadequacy that if what it is you've been working on hasn't developed in quite the way that you thought it would, you may be feeling a little bit fearful or insecure. Just you don't want to look at it, and you're sort of standing still and not being reactive to anything. You got the blindfold on. All right, so with the Page of Pentacles, and if you feel drawn to return to the previous path that you were on because of any difficulty or despondency that this position on the new path is offering or providing to you, again, have patience. Be aware that you are in alignment and you are, take a look at your long-term plan, your long-term goal, and re-envision with the King of Wands about how to come in connection. You're in a stage of transience of growth. All right, so it's currently in motion. Things currently are happening. So if you just remove that blindfold, you don't necessarily have to move, but just remove the blindfold and observe. Just stand in the observer space to see how things have changed, to see how you have developed, and look at those through the eyes of justice and the star, with the patience of temperance, and with the hope and the inspiration that you have for what you have decided to develop. And that will help to give you some reassurance with the Eight of Swords sometimes. So try that out. 10 of Wands, again, 10 of Wands has been all over the readings the past couple of weeks. So this one with the King of Wands, it may be the level of responsibility or expectation that you're having, that you're placing upon yourself in this Page of Pentacles space, because the Page is the novice. Remember, it's just starting out. It's being curious, seeking out the information, seeking out the plans, and being open and willing to learn along the way, where the King is the master. He's already accomplished. He's masterful at what it is that he's endeavored to do. So he has a wealth of knowledge and experience supporting that crown on his head. All right, and the difference, the space between the two, can be a frustrating and intimidating space to hold. But when you're expecting yourself to operate as if you're the king within the page space, that's unreasonable. You still have, the purpose of the road that you're walking is to learn everything that you need to know to become the king or to become the queen or the empress or the emperor, whatever you want to use. But you're seeking mastery. You can't know everything that you need to know when you start, because the purpose of starting is to learn everything that you need to know by the end, if that makes sense. So release expectations of how you need to behave within this circumstance and take the observer space, apply patience and faith and hope that what you're going to develop, you're going to be capable of managing and stepping into, and reprioritize those things that do motivate you and release those things that limit you with the 10 of Wands. Okay, at the bottom we have 9 of Swords. So a little anxiety, a little fear, a little trepidation, being stuck in your head. So do something physical that brings you back into your body. Dance around the kitchen, go for a walk, do some deep breathing exercises, snap your fingers, do something sensory to bring you out of your head and into your body so that you can filter out that static of anxiety or fear that's applying, and then you can apply the justice and see the star and have patience with the temperance along the new path you're walking, and hold the observer space without the blindfold, so that you can then come to a position of deciding what to do next, and release expectation of what you feel you should be like, or what you feel the situation needs to be at this point of its development. And that will relieve you of that and allow you to tap into this growth energy with the 6 of Swords and the 6 of Pentacles. Okay, and at the bottom of the deck we have the World again. So there's a long-term serious cycle that is available to you with the development of whatever it is that you've decided upon, but having patience with the process and patience with yourself is an integral part of that space. And between the two, we have Judgment and the 9 of Cups. Whoever's connecting with this, it's like you have a call to carry forward. You've been called up to step into the next evolution, and it's almost like you can't not proceed, but sometimes the desire to fall back into the old safety zone that you know how to exist within, that's a real thing, But remember, there's something that you're seeking. The 9 of Cups, again, is on the table. Wish fulfillment. There is a connection approaching, a wish being granted, with the star here on the table as well, and temperance on the table. Be patient, be alert, be aware, and when it shows up, be receptive to it and accept it. And when the 9 of Cups shows up, I always say, say what it is that you want out loud. Reaffirm it to yourself and, you know, reaffirm it to the universe if you like to operate in that system, to let circumstance know that, hey, I am available to receive this. Please bring it to me. All right, and then when it gets there, accept it, receive it, and say, yes, more of this, please, to keep encouraging it to come to you. That's a tip that my sister, she was talking to her friend, her friend advised her to do when something that she wants shows up, to say out loud, yes, more of this, please. And I've done it once or twice since she told me about that, and actually, it works. It's funny. So I suggest trying that. And then we have the universe has your back. My faith has the power to turn trauma into healing, conflict into growth, and fear into love. Okay, so if you're feeling conflicted, if you're having old wounds rising up, calling you back to fall back on a previous path, and if you're a little afraid, a little intimidated, or feeling a little inadequate within the process at this time in a Mercury retrograde, there is stalling. Things don't shake out the way that you expect them to. It can be very frustrating, but allowing that to change, to become, to move from a sort of limiting, prohibitive, defensive sort of energy into a receptive and open and attuned sort of energy from fear into love can be very helpful. Okay, so being aware of what it is that you're feeling and thinking, and attentive to how you decide to process that completely natural, acceptable response that you have in that moment. You feel how you feel, you think what you think. But if it's something that limits you or is not good for you or makes you feel unwell, acknowledging it and taking the moment to think, okay, well, how can I address this so that I can recover from it or become empowered from it, or to resolve it, or to you know, develop in a direction that is more empowering and more supportive and healthier for me. How can I do that? Okay. All right, that is all that I have for you guys for today. I'm sorry I was muddled today. But it happens. It happens in a Mercury retrograde. So if you're on the same page, if you're having the same issues, I am right there with you. You are not alone. I will see you guys tomorrow for Teatime and Tarot. I hope you have a lovely, lovely day.